Hello, Range Rover fans that also like cartoons. So we have that kind of version of a Range Rover, of the classic Range Rover. ChoroQ is crazy. They have so many castings, and I know almost nothing of them until I run into them. They don't have like a central database of everything they've made. So even though I've been collecting Choros for several years, now I've discovered they make Range Rovers. So here we go. This is like a 1970s Range Rover where it has an all-metal bumper, but it came with stamped wheels. This is like a 1980s Range Rover where it has black plasticky bumpers, I guess. And then these are the wheels I'm going to swap onto this thing. We'll get to that later, of course. And there's the rear view. But you'll see here the old classic, the whole thing's painted. But now in the 80s, they do paint this area black, which these guys did. So I don't know if these guys are modeling a late 80. I don't know. Maybe they eventually went back to all metal bumpers, but I kind of doubt it. Who knows? No big deal. It's a cartoon car, right? These wheels, though, are I think way too modern. I think these belong in a more modern Range Rover. But the tires, they're soft and rubbery because this is a pullback toy. That's what that white box is. It's a motor. This says '03 on it, so this is actually pretty old now, 20 plus years, right? There's the typical screw in the front and a tab holding the back down. There's nice that there's a GB license plate there. These headlights are pretty cool. There's actually no cover, but it looks like a headlight. They just chromed the actual bucket with a light bulb in there. That's a really easy thing that I think a lot of other brands should do, like entry-level brands. Like if Hot Wheels did it, it would be great. Although I do like the printing that Hot Wheels does also. But this is far more realistic than any sort of printing because it's literally a light bucket reflecting. Okay, well anyways, the glossy black grille, some deep ridges, the orange and running lights there are painted pretty well. And the Range Rover is nice and crisp. Well, actually, I take that back. The G doesn't really look like a G, does it? But they almost got it. Give them credit there, I guess. Some pollutants in the paint, unfortunately. What is this here? It's just like a kick-up. I would have guessed it'd be some sort of vents there, but I'm looking at that front image. I think this might pop up on the classic ones. Maybe it's like an air scoop or something. Okay, well anyways, this is one piece of clear smoked plastic and everything else is painted. So you can see the wind-up motor there, and then they blacked out the whole top half cabin there. But the molding is raised, so that's kind of neat. And then we have a little venting there in that last pillar. And then some corrugation up on the roof. This side, no fuel filler on this side. No fuel filler on this side. Look at the images. Maybe it's in the back. Maybe it's... No, it's supposed to be right here, according to that first image. I don't know, maybe there's a year behind the license plate, but I kind of doubt it. Alright, well, anyways, the taillights, oddly, there's a turn signal in a backup. But, the main red. Where's the main red? That's really strange, right? That's odd. Maybe they're thinking this orange is supposed to be red and orange. But why wouldn't it cover all of this? There wouldn't be a green bar in this rear taillight. So that's strange. The Range Rover up here is nice. We have some indication of hinges looking good. And then we have this little sticker saying Land Rover. This is a coin holder. It's just tradition with this brand, but frankly, I don't like it. It just detracts from the thing. Okay, well, it's being a truck, I guess the gappiness of the tires is fine. These actually are really nice ChoroQ wheels. I'm going to save them for some other ChoroQ. They're just modern looking. Yeah. Alright, so let's pop this open. Whoa, that thing's really tight in there. I don't know if it's a chrome-plated screw. I think it's a chrome-plated screw. But it hasn't rusted yet. So now this is problematic. These things aren't really designed to be taken apart. So very often, I would say more than half the time, or at least half the time, it's like these things are a little bit wider than the actual opening. You can take a hobby knife and open up the opening though, or scrape off the back side of the hook. So now you can see this is all just one smoked piece of plastic, but the headlights are a chromed piece of plastic. These bumpers, I don't know. They could be separate pieces. Nah, I think they're just painted. Yeah, they're just painted. But it's quite amazing, you know, that they're really able to block all the light out. That's so hard for even premium, realistic looking models to get right. But this looks like a solid green. I don't see any light getting through. Just out of curiosity's sake, though, let's see what happens if we shine. See, it's actually blocking a lot of that light. This is a bright light. The hood, not so much, but the roof is doing a good job. Okay, well anyways, you got this little tab holding the front end down. The front axle already fell out. I like to hold it and twist. This is a nice knurled axle, but you're gonna need to get some pliers for the other one to spin the other one off. Come on. Alright, there we go. I am going to try to reuse this axle. Since this is a truck, I'm actually going to have it reuse the axles. Uh-oh. This might be concentric rings. If it was a knurled axle, it would have fallen off. Oh, yeah, I guessed right. I'm actually quite shocked. I thought I was going to embarrass myself as usual. So those concentric rings are the worst type of axles. They're just so difficult to remove. It literally tears a bunch of plastic out of the hole. I think I'm going to bend the axle doing this. I'm going to come back. So luckily I had this Volkswagen Cup Racer with these really yellowed standard wheels, which are lame. I think this is more fitting. The Range Rover tires are actually better on this race car because they're kind of a little more lower profile. They're not ballooning out like old school tires are. But the tires on this is from 03 also, which is odd. It has different tires. These tires are much more balloony. See? They look more like truck tires. Anywho, so I don't know if this width is correct. I might have to squeeze them on a little further. But I like to pop this back together. And I don't use an electric driver because it's a plastic body. You don't want to strip out the hole. See, now this tab is difficult to put on. There it goes, it snaps. So I use a hand drive screwdriver here. Back it out, try to find the thread. There we go. There, that's how you don't cross thread stuff. So, yeah, this one's gonna have to rotate in. So I just do a little bit of that. Might have to cut the axle down possibly. Let's see about this one. It's good enough for the video. This one I think is actually a little too short. By the way, I did bend. It took so much force to pry that off. I literally bent steel like Superman. Not. Alright, so I guess I could, yeah, it's good enough. I actually don't like my stuff to roll because it falls off stuff. So there we go, old school 3 spokes. Yeah. Okay, let's look at a few other SUVs. I guess the most common competitor would probably be a G-Wagon maybe. So this is a Choro. This one says when? 04? That also has the like chromed buckets and stuff for the lights. This actually has transparent taillights, so it's actually superior, I would say, in its technical accomplishments. And so this is a Hummer H2. And I 3D printed my own wheels because I think it just came with the stock 5 spokes. This one came out in 2007. Nicely painted. Very neat. And that's really it for luxury cartooned SUVs. I'm not aware of any others, but leave a comment if you know. I know they do have a more modern Range Rover, which eventually I'll track down. Here's an FJ45, I believe. This just has a standard 5 spokes. Yeah, it's not really a luxury, but it can definitely go off-road. And then here's that cartooned Chevy K10 Blazer. It's similar in size. Yeah, I think you could pose those trucks next to each other in a cartoon fantasy world. I kind of wish they would make an Escalade, a modern Escalade, or even the first Escalade in like a ChoroQ kind of size. So maybe that'd be something this brand, Cartoon, could pick up on MGA there. And the last one I'm going to throw out there is a Toyota Elgrand. Last time I was stateside, I noticed there are no luxury vans sold in America, which is really stupid. I mean, people are driving around in SUVs, which is basically a lifted station wagon. But if you're not going to go off-roading with an SUV, which is the majority of people, you're just wasting space. But these luxury vans, which are all over Asia, like the Alphard, the Lexus, the Mercedes V-Class, they're like yachts. They're like cruising down the road in yachts. You still have a high seating position, but the low floor height and the high roof, it just gives you more space. So I don't understand why Americans don't go into dealerships and say, why can't we buy a Mercedes V-Class? Or why can't we buy the luxury Lexus or the Toyota Alphard or Alphard? I don't even know how to pronounce it. They're awesome vans. So I would love to see some luxury vans in the US. I think there's only like 4 vans sold in America, and they're all generally small minivans. Anyways, random topic. So anyways, obviously luxury truck or van, more space. But obviously with a Range Rover, you're going to go off-roading. Well, I don't know. I bet the majority of Range Rover owners don't actually go off-roading. Alright, well, anyways, 3D printed wheel project worked out pretty well. And we'll see you the next time around. Thanks.